why, like, how are you so confident in the system, so to speak? Like, what like, I want to know what's in you that you see this is the future, opposed this is a scam, or this is not going to last, or this is a fad. Why were you on the other side? Like, this is the future.
I think, okay, all right. So ego will say, oh, because I knew better, right? But it's not ego. It's Satoshi's letter, Bitcoin letter. And it was basically how there was no one that was going to have control of this currency, not a government, no one. People could not take it from you. They can't remove it from you. You own the keys, which means you really own this now. Right? Like, unlike anything else, you own it. No one could take it from you, right? Like, somebody can't come in and say, oh, we're taking over this country and we're going to take all your monetary gains, right? Like, so just understanding that and how secure the systems have been, specifically with Bitcoin, I think it was like, all right, we got something here. And then to understand, oh, will an artist ever produce, even if they produce a physical piece of art, they're going to tie it to the NFT. Will an artist ever create art the way they used to? That makes no sense, right? Like, why would you create something that your kids' don't benefit from, or that you don't benefit from? Right. So you sell a painting for $1,000, the next guy sells it for $1 million, and all you got was the 1,000, and that's your value as an artist. Right. So I knew this was the beginning of a lot of things changing: art, music, production, ownership, monetary, right? Currency. Right. We live in America where everything is beautiful and the dollar holds its value to the most part, right? Even though it's devaluing every day. 100,000 30 years ago is not 100,000 today. Right. But how about people that live in Argentina that got paid $600 and within 48 hours, what they had in the bank dropped to 400. Right. Now crypto becomes, pay us in crypto now. But hold on, I thought the monetary was legit. I thought it doesn't move. Right. And then you start realizing that for third world countries, for art, for things, for a new way of contracts, for a new way of payment, for a new way of revenue, crypto is going to disrupt the entire financial system.
So my question with that, because even in looking at, the cryptocurrencies, they fluctuate so drastically.
Yeah.
So should the average consumer be concerned? Because as I'm listening to you, I'm getting excited. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to get on with NettyWorth and just get everything going. But, just, I guess it may be the lack of knowledge and the fact that it's decentralized.
So crypto, it does fluctuate. So no one's debating that.
Yeah.
I think over time, that piece is going to be resolved.
Right?
Yeah, because as the market becomes more stable and bigger, like, for instance, like, you can look at crypto today and you're like, oh, it's down or up 5 or 10 points. That's wild in like the dollar side of things, right? 100%. Like, you can't have a business say, oh, we lost 300,000 because crypto went down, right? But I think when you're looking at like what you're supposed to do, so just to make it clear, you're supposed to, and this is my view, this is Michael's view from micro strategy. You're supposed to buy Bitcoin and never sell it. Never sell it. Do you know why? Because you should borrow against it. Why? Because you'll never pay taxes on a loan. Right? And why are you selling an asset that continues to go up? A few months ago, Bitcoin was 17,000. Today is 45,000. Why are you selling an asset? Even when Bitcoin at the height was at 62, still hold the asset. Right. Borrow against it if you need it, but you should not be selling Bitcoin specifically. Other assets like Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, I think those are tradable and they have value. Like, their network has value. Visa just had a partnership with Solana, I believe. Ethereum is, extremely used in the NFT as a case study of how people are using that. So I think who's another guy? The guy from Shark Tank, what's his name?
Mark Cuban.
Not Mark Cuban. He's always wearing a suit, a black suit. What's his name?
I know you talk about the ball head.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he always says, he's like, look at crypto as software. That's it. It's software that makes money move.
In one of your tweets, you said, we might have experienced the bottom. The next bull run will be crazy. Can you explain crazy and why?
All right. So what happens is because the market has been legitimized. The SEC is now, just approved an ETF. That means that people's, whether it's pension or 401k, they're going to be able to invest in Bitcoin. That wasn't, we never accounted for that. Wow. But this is the thing. They need to buy Bitcoin to sell that Bitcoin to these people, right? To gather this.
Not to cut you.
Yeah.
So while the numbers may be down, there's things happening behind the scenes that are showing that this is the future. And
whoever's watching this podcast, when it airs, stamp the date. And every year, look at the price of crypto and go back to this podcast. Every year. Just look at it. And you know what? Blast me if I'm wrong. Every year, look at it, and you're going to be shocked of what we're going to see over the next 5 years. If you just type in JP Morgan Bitcoin price prediction, just do that on your phone, right? Again, JP Morgan. This is not YouTube. This is not a podcast. I think JP's Morgan price prediction is at 146,000. Wow. Folks, Bitcoin's at 45,000.
Get in now.
Right? And by the way, there's people like Kathy Woods that has Bitcoin going to $1 million to $2 million. So you want to talk about generational wealth or what's about to happen? I mean, it's coming. I think we're 2 to 3 years away from seeing like a giant run, but I think this is the time that people are accumulating and buying. I mean, I haven't stopped buying. I keep telling people, stop looking at the price. Focus more on how many you're buying. Don't focus on that Solana's $93. Focus on how many Solanas you want to have.